Okay, I wasn't really planning on making this video, but just earlier I stumbled across a creationist video that was talking about some events in Genesis. So remember a while back we briefly talked about a funny topic regarding how quickly Adam would have had to name the animals to do it in the time frame mentioned in the Bible? I'll leave the video as a link in the description if you don't remember. Anyway, yeah, that was a while ago, but I mean, Genesis is full of weird, impossible things like that, so it's no surprise.
How long did it take for Adam to name the animals?
Well, let's see what the Bible has to say about this. And God brought them, that's talking about the animals, isn't he? God brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And you can read about this in Genesis 2:19. Some people say, hey, there's no way that Adam could name all those animals just within 24 hours in one day. Too many animals, millions of animals, impossible task.
Okay, so of course Adam didn't have to name all of the animals, let's get that out of the way. But there are 8.7 million species of animals on Earth as an estimation, so in a single day of 24 hours, Adam would have to name 100 animals per second, which indeed is an incredible feat. Of course, creationists are going to say that he didn't need to name animals in the water, and also there are just less species back then due to their stupid reasoning of the quote kinds, but we're not going to go into detail because I've already addressed all of that in a previous video.
But you gotta remember, he didn't have to name all the animals. He certainly didn't have to name anything that swam in the water. Adam only needed to name the animal kinds, and then it was only the land animals like the cattle kind, birds of the air, and beasts of the field.
Okay, so I'm not actually here to rebut this entire video like I normally do. The reason this video caught my interest even though it didn't present anything new is because it's on YouTube Kids. Yep, I totally forgot that some videos are part of the kids version of this platform and therefore don't have things like ads in a comment section. But then that actually makes me even more angry because it shows that creationists are targeting kids. I mean, let's be real, if religion didn't indoctrinate people at a young age, they would die out pretty fast. They spread by teaching this garbage to people who can't think for themselves, which I think is pretty malicious. I mean, think about it. There are lots of things we keep from kids until they're older. Things like violence, sex, politics. These are things we don't really teach children until they're like teenagers. But somehow, if we tell them that they're being watched by God and must repent for sins they haven't committed, telling them that they're broken from the day they're born, then that's apparently okay? I mean, I'm no expert at raising children, but I feel like that goes beyond just teaching kids basic manners and such. So what was the point of this video? Nothing really. I didn't plan on making this, and I'm using it as an excuse to rant, but I personally think it is completely immoral to indoctrinate kids with a religion, any religion, at a young age. If you want to try to indoctrinate someone who already has full brain capacity to think for themselves, then go for it. But indoctrinating someone who can't is simply an assault on the mind. You're essentially raising them to become who you want them to become rather than allowing them to explore their own realities. And that's exactly where my problem is. I think religion is so ridiculous that anyone who can think for themselves simply wouldn't be convinced. Religious people know that. They know their religion itself can't convince people. Their position is not dependent on the merits of their own ideologies themselves. If religion truly were convincing and had evidence for it, that itself should be convincing enough for people, including adults who can think for themselves. If I had an ideology and was confident in it, I wouldn't need to rely on dirty tricks such as indoctrinating kids in order to spread my ideology around. The ideology itself should be sufficient. So the fact that religions need to indoctrinate kids, and even after that the rate of religious people are falling, is an indication that you have no merit. And religious people probably know that, which is why they target children and upload videos to YouTube Kids just like this one, in order to stay afloat in a losing battle.